If you're a fan of MMORPGs, you've definitely come to the right spot, because in this video, we're going to be breaking down the top 5 MMORPGs that you need to be playing in 2025. Now, it wouldn't be a list of games like this if World of Warcraft wasn't in the top spot, because it has just truly lasted the test of time, and there's still lots of fun to be had in 2025. So the first one there is going to be World of Warcraft, and then we're going to break down some other titles that you've probably heard of before, and then some that you probably haven't. So we hope you stay tuned to the full video. In World of Warcraft, you can expect a mix of questing, dungeon crawling, raiding, and PvP battlegrounds, which all give life to the game's thrill of a lore and story. You'll start off by picking a faction and class, then work your way through the different zones. Each location and quest lines come with their own storylines and themes, and when you can always progress through it solo, the World of Warcraft level of mechanical depth increases with group dungeons and raids that are filled with more difficult chances and higher tier rewards. And it's really hard to beat the feeling of going in with all your friends on comms and doing that big boss dungeon or massive battle. It can really make some memorable moments, as you'd remember with that big Leroy Jenkins scene.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
World of Warcraft is a great mix of gameplay and story. It really feels like stepping into a living, breathing Dungeons & Dragons campaign where the orcs aren't just monsters but protagonists with deep narratives. So even though the franchise is 20 years old now, they've done so much to keep this story new and exciting, and you have so many cool other players that you get to talk to as you form guilds and stuff like that and do your dungeon raids. So it is definitely one that you should check out if you haven't already. Next up, we have GuildWars 2, and this is more of a niche choice in the MMORPG genre. Inside the game, you'll get to explore vibrant zones with dynamic events, and there's these mini quests that get triggered as you interact with the world. Overall, this is a really nice change of pace when it comes to that one-on-one grinding that you have to do in some other MMOs. Another highlight in terms of gameplay is the action-oriented combat that requires players to master the arts of dodging, positioning, and executing skill combos. There are plenty of objective-focused PvP events in the game, which make the environments feel even more lively. Another really cool thing about this is the community. Whether it be in Reddit forums or talking in-game, the community really seems to be there to help each other and help new players learn. There's also no gear treadmill pushing you to constantly chase stats and find better gear, and you don't have a mandatory subscription with this one, so you can dive in and out whenever you want. Next up will come as no surprise to you MMO fans. With all that amazing storytelling we have in the Elder Scrolls series, here we have Elder Scrolls Online. The first thing you'll notice is the fully voiced quests, something you rarely see in other MMOs. Even the most legendary games stick to text chats for the unimportant characters, and to us, that kind of feels like a missed opportunity, especially where we are in the day and age of tech. For this one, you're not locked into one storyline or region. You can explore, quest, and experience the world in the order that you choose. It also avoids the frustrating power creep you see in many other games. What's great about this is older gear sets don't become almost instantly useless like they do in other games. That old gear that you have, you can still use going forward. If you've previously played an Elder Scrolls game, you'll appreciate how Elder Scrolls Online blends the franchise's characteristics with an online environment. The active combat system requires you to learn your way around blocking, dodging, aiming, and also timing abilities. The level scaling allows you to follow storylines at your own pace, while you can eventually start challenging dungeons and world bosses solo or with company. And another nice and unique thing in this is the housing. You can customize your house wherever it is in the land to your desired liking. Next up, we have the legendary RPG series Final Fantasy, but with the online version of Final Fantasy XIV. What keeps us coming back to this one is the narrative. It's long-running, deep, and honestly one of the best MMOs in the space. Final Fantasy raids are a standout feature as they're organized with high ceilings, and with all the action and different abilities, it really increases the overall replayability of this game. Beyond the raids, there's lots to explore in Final Fantasy XIV, ranging from crafting, housing, and even fashion to mini-games. When you first start playing, the story-driven quests will do a decent job of introducing you to the more complicated parts of the game, like dungeons and professions. Most of the content in the game is better consumed with other groups of players, and there's a duty finder in place that aims to ensure you're never alone for any activity in the game. And not only do you have the fun challenge of building your team and matching abilities to be really balanced and battling others, you also have some fun Easter eggs like fishing and stuff like that. There are honestly so many compelling mechanics to raids and PvP content in the game that every so often when we realize we haven't played this one in a while, it's time to boot it back up. And finally, our last one on the list is for all you Middle-earth fans, and that is the Lord of the Rings Online. I don't know about you, but if you've ever got your hands on the GameCube classic game of this, it was so fun to progress through the levels with your friends. It was one of the first games that really gave you that multiplayer feel with your friends, battling it through the orcs, dodging, parrying, and trying to level up all those different characters. This one is free to play and drops you right into Middle-earth with a slightly steep learning curve. The UI itself might feel a little bit old, but at the same time, it brings you into that nostalgic feel of old school Lord of the Rings. What makes this one unique is how it handles the classes and storytelling. Each class has a flavor and mechanic that feels distinct. It might not be the flashiest game out there, but it's full of heart and atmosphere while resonating with that old school MMORPG feel. When it comes to the gameplay experience, you can expect a world that revolves around questing, exploring, and storytelling all within that Lord of the Rings universe. And being a Lord of the Rings fan, anytime you go through the Shire or one of those epic areas, it really brings back the feelings you get from watching the movies, and it's so fun to play it out for yourself. And with that, lore-filled quests will allow you to dive even deeper into the game's world, while the dungeons and raids remain core part of the gameplay loop. So there you have it. Those are our top 5 choices of MMORPGs that you need to be playing in 2025. Let us know though, which on this list would you like to explore if we've forgotten one? And of course, if you're looking to discover new games, make sure you head over to fungible.games, where we've got breaking news, in-depth walkthroughs, interview founders, and so much more for all your gaming needs.